Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I have seen thousands of people work hard every day, waking up early, doing overtime, but making a silent mistake that keeps them stuck in the same place. This mistake is not just about finances, but about mindset, spending time and energy on things that bring no return at all. It's like trying to fill a bucket full of holes. No matter how hard you work, the result always leaks away. On stage, I said, "If not now, when? If not me, who?" This is the moment to take responsibility and stop living on autopilot, waiting for something to change on its own. What many people don't realize is that the biggest saboteur of success is not the lack of opportunities, but the insistence on keeping habits that drain time and focus. Spending hours in front of the television, buying things you don't need, or saying yes to everything without prioritizing what really matters is poison for productivity and personal growth. It's like watering a garden with dead plants, expecting them to suddenly bloom. This is a dangerous cycle because it gives the false feeling of movement but doesn't lead anywhere. I learned that poverty doesn't start in the wallet, but in the mind. A person who values distraction over learning, excuses over action, is already building their own prison. The key to breaking this cycle is to change what's inside first. Productivity, self-discipline, and clarity of goals are the tools that can transform anyone's life, regardless of where they started. When you decide that every minute has value, everything around you starts to align toward progress. Now, imagine trading every wasted hour for something that builds your vision of the future. Learning a skill, creating connections, or planning your next steps. This simple habit change, repeated every day, can turn years of stagnation into real advancement. And that is where the difference begins between those who merely survive and those who grow. But this is only the first part of the journey to break the cycle of poverty. Poverty often has less to do with the amount of money in your account and more to do with the way you think. Many people unconsciously maintain a mindset of limitation, telling themselves that wealth is only for lucky people or those born into it. These thoughts become invisible chains, locking you into the same patterns day after day. I have always believed that if your mind is closed, your opportunities are too. Your thoughts are the architects of your reality. What they build will either free you or trap you. The brain is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant will grow. If you constantly sow seeds of doubt, fear, and self-pity, your life will harvest exactly that. I've seen people reject opportunities before even trying, thinking they're not ready or not good enough. This isn't humility, it's a mental cage. If you want to change your life, you must first change the blueprint in your head. Growth mindset, positive thinking, and self-belief are not cliches. They are the foundation for real transformation. I remember saying, when you're poor, if you have a dream, you never feel poor. A dream is the one currency no one can take from you. If your vision is strong enough, it will keep you moving even when your pockets are empty. Dreams are not just for inspiration. They are the compass that keeps you on course through storms. Without them, you're like a ship drifting without a destination. This shift in thinking is not an overnight process. It requires daily effort. Reading books that expand your mind, surrounding yourself with people who challenge your limits, and consciously replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones. If your mind believes you're capable, you'll start taking actions that reflect that, and those actions will become the steps out of poverty. But this is only the mental foundation. The next step is understanding why working harder is not the ultimate solution. When I was younger, I believed that if I simply worked harder than everyone else, success would come. But life taught me a lesson. Hard work without strategy is like running faster in the wrong direction. You just get lost more quickly. I've met people who work 16-hour days, 7 days a week, yet remain in the same financial spot year after year. They confuse movement with progress, but those two are not the same. We have been conditioned to glorify exhaustion, as if the number of hours worked is proof of ambition. But what truly matters is the value you create in each of those hours. Wealth grows from leverage, from multiplying your efforts through smart systems, delegation, and investments. A person working 4 focused hours with the right plan can achieve more than someone working 14 hours without one. Think of it like climbing a mountain. You can either take the steep, dangerous path with no map, or find the well-marked route that leads to the top efficiently. Working harder on the wrong path will only wear you out faster. The goal is not to break your back, but to break the patterns that keep you stuck. This is where skills like time management, productivity tips, and success habits become game changers. The real breakthrough comes when you combine effort with strategy, discipline with creativity. Your energy is finite. Treat it like the most precious investment you have. That means putting it where it brings the highest returns. And once you understand that, You'll also see why complaining is one of the most expensive habits a person can have. Complaining may feel harmless, but it is a hidden tax on your time, energy, and opportunities. Every minute you spend talking about what's wrong is a minute stolen from finding a solution. I've seen teams crumble not because of a lack of talent, but because negativity poisoned their culture. It's like trying to plant flowers in soil full of toxins. Nothing good will grow there. When you complain, you train your brain to look for problems instead of possibilities. And here's the truth: what you focus on expands. If you keep focusing on obstacles, they will seem bigger than they are. This doesn't just affect your mood, it directly impacts your financial growth. A person who spends energy on blame and excuses is too distracted to see the opportunities right in front of them. Complaining also drives people away, especially those who could help you grow. No one wants to invest time, money, or trust in someone who constantly focuses on what's wrong. Success is built on trust, optimism, and action. If you want to attract mentors, partners, or investors, you need to bring solutions to the table, not just problems. Breaking the habit of complaining is like clearing the fog from your windshield. Suddenly, the road ahead becomes visible, and with a clear view, you're better equipped to take the next critical step, learning to embrace calculated risks instead of avoiding them. Avoiding risks may feel safe, but safety often hides stagnation. If you always play it safe, you'll never step into the spaces where growth lives. Opportunities often come disguised as uncertainty, and those who fear risk will never see them for what they are. I've learned that repeating the same actions that got you here will never take you anywhere new. I often tell people, if you want to catch the rabbit, don't change the rabbit, change yourself. That means you cannot wait for circumstances to be perfect before acting. The market will change, people will change, and conditions will change. If you refuse to adapt, you will be left behind. Risk is not about being reckless. It's about calculated moves that stretch your capacity and open new doors. Think of entrepreneurs. Every innovation, every breakthrough product, every expansion into a new market involved risk. Without it, companies stay small, individuals remain stuck, and potential is wasted. Financial growth requires stepping into spaces you've never been before. That's where leverage and new opportunities exist. The truth is, the first risk you must take is changing yourself. If you invest in learning, building new skills, and expanding your network, you're actually lowering the dangers of future risks. And speaking of networks, the next stage of breaking the poverty cycle is understanding the power of connections. Wealth and success are rarely built in isolation. The people you surround yourself with can either pull you forward or hold you back. Networking is not about collecting business cards or adding strangers on social media. It's about building genuine, mutually valuable relationships. One strong connection can open doors that years of solo effort never could. In my journey, every major turning point was connected to people. Mentors who guided me, partners who believed in my vision, and even competitors who pushed me to improve. The more you engage with people who share your values and ambitions, the faster you grow. Surround yourself with those who see possibilities where others see limits. Think of networking as planting a forest instead of a single tree. Each connection is a seed, and over time, some will grow into opportunities far bigger than you imagined. But you must nurture them with authenticity, consistency, and trust. Relationships built only on self-interest collapse quickly. Those built on genuine respect last a lifetime. If you want to accelerate your personal growth, financial success, and opportunities, start intentionally building your circle. Make it a habit to learn from others, offer value without expecting immediate returns, and position yourself where important conversations happen. And once you start building financial capacity, you'll face a critical decision: to invest or to save. One of the most important crossroads in financial growth is deciding whether to invest or to save. Saving is safe. It preserves what you already have. Investing is strategic. It multiplies what you have. The key is knowing when to do each. Wealthy people understand that while saving protects, it is investing that builds. Keeping all your money in a savings account is like keeping seeds locked in a box. They will never grow unless planted. Investments, whether in business, real estate, the stock market, or personal education, allow your money to work for you. But this requires knowledge, patience, and discipline. Investing blindly is as dangerous as never investing at all. A balanced approach often works best. Maintain a safety cushion for emergencies, but channel the rest into assets that appreciate over time. This is how you turn financial stability into financial freedom. The earlier you start, the more you benefit from compound growth, one of the most powerful forces in wealth building. Once you've decided to invest in yourself and your future, the way you structure your daily life will either accelerate or sabotage your results. That's why the routines you follow each morning are more important than most people realize. The way you start your day shapes everything that follows. Poor morning routines waste the most valuable hours on distractions, while wealthy routines set the tone for productivity, focus, and success. The difference isn't about money, it's about mindset and priorities. In my experience, successful people guard their mornings fiercely. They dedicate the first hours to activities that sharpen their mind, strengthen their body, and align their goals. Meditation, exercise, planning the day, and learning something new are common habits. Poor routines, on the other hand, often begin with scrolling through social media, hitting the snooze button, or reacting to problems instead of creating opportunities. A productive morning builds momentum that lasts all day. It's like pushing the first domino in a long chain. Every positive action triggers another. Over time, this compounds into massive results, just as negative routines compound into wasted potential. Once you've built empowering habits, it's equally important to know the traps to avoid. Wealthy people aren't just successful because of what they do. They're successful because of what they refuse to do. Many believe that wealth is only about how much you earn. In reality, it's often about the mistakes you avoid. The first mistake is living beyond your means. Wealthy people understand that buying unnecessary luxuries just to impress others is a trap that drains resources and creates debt. Another mistake is ignoring the importance of investing. The rich see money as a tool to generate more money through business, real estate, or the financial markets. Meanwhile, many people spend everything they earn, missing the power of compound interest. The wealthy also avoid emotional decision-making. Impulse purchases, panic selling, or jumping into trends without research are financial landmines. Instead, they rely on planning, discipline, and long-term vision. This requires mental resilience, the ability to delay gratification, and a deep understanding of how small daily actions build large future results. Avoiding these mistakes doesn't just protect your wealth, it accelerates its growth. And sometimes, growth isn't about doing more, but about learning to say no to what doesn't align with your goals. The ability to say no is one of the most underrated success skills. Every yes you give to something unimportant is a no to something that could change your life. Poor decision-making often comes from the fear of missing out or the desire to please everyone. But pleasing everyone is a fast way to please no one, including yourself. Wealthy individuals protect their time and energy by setting clear boundaries. They understand that every opportunity has a cost, and that cost is the time and focus it takes away from their main priorities. Saying no is not rejection, it's strategic alignment. When you start filtering your commitments, you create space for the right opportunities to find you. This is how you go from being overwhelmed and scattered to being focused and effective. It's not easy at first. People will question your decisions. But over time, your results will speak for themselves. Prioritization is not just about time management, it's about life management. And once you control your decisions, you must also control your mind. Because mental laziness can cost you millions. Mental laziness is the silent killer of potential. It's the unwillingness to think deeper, to question assumptions, to seek better answers. When you accept things as they are without analysis, you limit your capacity for innovation and growth. Opportunities often hide in problems that others overlook, but finding them requires curiosity, critical thinking, and the discipline to keep learning. Those who avoid mental effort miss the breakthroughs that could change their lives. They stick to what's easy, even if it's unproductive. Mental laziness also makes people vulnerable to manipulation. Without independent thinking, you rely on others to make decisions for you. And those decisions often serve their interest, not yours. This is why continuous learning, reading, and expanding your perspective are essential for financial independence. The cost of mental laziness isn't just money. It's the life you could have lived. And once you realize that, you start to ask yourself the ultimate question. Are you building wealth or just surviving? There's a world of difference between living to survive and living to build. Survival mode is reactive. You focus only on getting through the day, paying the bills, and avoiding disaster. Wealth building mode is proactive. You focus on creating systems, habits, and investments that will serve you for years. One of the biggest traps is procrastination. Every time you delay action, you delay results. Opportunities have an expiration date, and the cost of inaction compounds over time. Successful people treat time as their most valuable currency because once it's spent, it's gone forever. Another silent destroyer of wealth is emotional decision-making. Acting on impulse, whether in spending or investing, can undo years of progress. The wealthy avoid this by using planning, discipline, and data to guide their moves. They don't just think about today. They think about 5, 10, even 20 years ahead. The question you must ask yourself daily is this: are my actions today creating a better tomorrow, or am I simply running in place? The answer will determine whether you break the cycle of poverty or pass it on to the next generation.
The audience had already been captivated before Jack Ma even stepped off the stage. The founder of Alibaba had just delivered a presentation that was as raw as it was inspiring, dissecting the invisible chains that keep people trapped in poverty and showing, step by step, how to break them. With his trademark mix of humor, real-life stories, and bold challenges, Jack Ma painted a picture of transformation that felt both urgent and possible. In a voice that carried both authority and empathy, Jack Ma revealed the biggest mistakes that poor people make without even noticing. Errors of mindset, routine, and decision-making that silently sabotage progress. He challenged the belief that working harder is the ultimate key to success, explaining why strategy, self-discipline, and focus are the real forces behind wealth creation. The audience leaned in when he declared that avoiding risks is one of the surest ways to stay poor, and nodded when he explained how the right connections can change a life forever. Jack Ma didn't just offer theory, he gave practical, actionable strategies. From redefining morning routines to avoiding costly financial traps, he highlighted the exact habits that separate those who merely survive from those who thrive. His insight into how saying no can open doors to greater opportunities struck a chord with everyone in the room, as did his warning about the high cost of mental laziness. The presentation wasn't a collection of cliches. It was a direct challenge to rethink life choices, to stop complaining, and to start taking responsibility for one's financial and personal growth. His stories were both personal and universal, bridging cultural and economic divides with truths that applied to anyone willing to listen and act. For those who heard him speak, the message was clear. Breaking the cycle of poverty is not just about earning more. It's about thinking differently, acting with intention, and committing to daily improvement. With the passion of a visionary and the precision of a strategist, Jack Ma left the stage having given more than a talk. He had given a roadmap. And in that room, filled with people of all backgrounds, it became impossible to ignore the question he posed. If not now, when? If not you, who? Now that you've seen the patterns that hold people back and the habits that set them free, the real question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you let it become just another motivational talk you once heard? Or will you act on it starting today? The difference between staying in the same place and transforming your life lies in the choices you make right now. Which of these ideas resonated with you the most? Was it the power of saying no, the warning about mental laziness, the insight into how your morning routine shapes your future? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective might inspire someone else to take their first step toward change. Whenever you feel stuck, overwhelmed, or tempted to give up, come back and watch this again. Every time you revisit it, you'll notice something new, something that speaks to the moment you're living. Growth isn't a one-time event, it's a daily commitment. And before you close this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now, because if you don't, chances are you'll never find it again. Turn on the notifications so you can keep learning and applying strategies that work in the real world. Finally, don't stop here. The next video on your screen is your next step forward. Click it now, and let's keep building the life you know you're capable of living.